Welcome back, folks, to Chopping It Up with your host, your boy Blunt. As you can see here, I'm joined by my friend, Miss
Mhm.
Treez, and we're going to be
Thanks.
talking about a topic today that it may be fading from social media, but we're going to touch on it because I think it brings a more important topic for us to talk about. But to set it off, we're going to be talking about Dank. That's her name, Dank. And if you don't know who Dank is that BBW. They say she's a hip hop artist. Um, I've never heard of her, but hey, her friends say she's famous, and she's made uh, social media by suing Lyft. The reason why she sued Lyft is because she ordered a Lyft, and the car that came, of course, it would be a cop car coming now or fire engine. But anyway, the car that came was a small type vehicle, and the driver was like, I don't think you can fit. Maybe you should order a different Lyft or whatever. And she kind of got upset and put it on social media, and now she having a big lawsuit where the Lyft driver gets fired, and she's suing Lyft for damages. And so me and Trees are gonna here we're gonna talk about that. When you saw Trees the first video of that, what was the first thing that came to your mind about her?
The first thing that came to my mind was she know better. She know better, for real. Uh, Being a big girl, most of my life, your limits, your limitations. I wasn't always, I'll say this up front, I'm 300 pounds. I wasn't always 300 pounds. And then when I got to the point where I got to 300 pounds, yes, I had to mentally adjust to the new size that I am, but my brain knew.
Mm.
My brain knew, my size. Like, you know your limitations. And for her to just break out the camera and play victim, she knew what she was doing.
Right. If you watch the video, I'm not sure, but I might show a clip of it while we're talking, and come back to it. But if you watch the video, the part where she's talking to the Lyft driver, it was like she was kind of baiting him into saying something wrong that she knew would get
Hmm.
attention.
So you telling me I can't get in the lift because I can't fit in your car?
Yeah, you need to order a bigger car.
What make you think I can't fit in a car?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And he was trying his best to be polite about his situation, like his tires are on his way out, and maybe you should get a different, a bigger. And she just kept pressing the issue. Now, me personally, um, I wouldn't have answered so many questions. I would just said, yeah, either you got to get a different lift, or I would have just drove off and canceled the ride and
Hmm.
refunded her money, and then let the company deal with me how they ever wanted to deal with me. But you're not gonna get me on camera saying anything like that, you know. The minute she would have pulled the camera, I would have been me driving off at that point. But yeah, so you brought up an interesting um, situation. You said you wasn't always as big as you are, which you're
Right.
about 200 pounds shorter than she is. So, and she's huge, but you said you wasn't always that, but your mind knew it made the adjustment. We could hear her
It
in
takes.
certain yeah, you can hear her in certain interviews saying that she still thinks she's skinny.
No, look, I don't have a big person mindset. I'm skinny in my head.
So it kind of feels like, I don't know if you might agree with me, like she has some kind of mental blocking going on. Like
Delulu.
yeah, exactly.
She lives
Yeah,
in the land of Delulu.
right.
Yes.
You didn't just become your size overnight.
No.
Right. There was something that might have, like, what was the trigger that made you go from the size you was to the size you are now?
I had an accident in 2012 that caused a ripple effect, a domino effect over
Right.
time. It took me, well, I fell into a depression,
Hmm.
and I gained a lot of weight because I used to exercise, and then going from exercising and eating like somebody fit to eating like somebody fit but not doing anything, you gain weight.
Mm-hmm.
And when I realized that I was bigger than what I was, I had to adjust. Like I would go buy something and knock something over with my butt. I'm like, God, where did that come from? You don't realize it, but eventually your mind adjusts. I don't know what she's talking about
Right, because
as far as that goes.
some people may feel that, um, like how can you get so big? I mean, don't you look at yourself in the mirror every day? But that doesn't
Sometimes it
necessarily
doesn't always work like that.
right.
When I was in my recovery after the accident, I was laying around. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't get a chance to get up, and I was wearing the comfortable clothes. I didn't wear the stuff that was tight fitting at certain times. And once I did go through therapy and was able to wear the clothes that I used to wear that weren't so comfortable, to go out and stuff, I noticed that they were smaller. It's like, oh shit, I gained weight. It wasn't like me putting on the same clothes and forcing them on. I just wasn't wearing them because I was going through therapy. I was in recovery. So,
Mm,
when I decided to get back out into the world, I was bigger. And being older, I'm almost 50. I'll be 50 this year. My hormones have a big effect, on my weight. So that I'm fighting against hormones and age and then the recovery, that's how I got to where I am.
right, right. And so but Dank doesn't have that excuse because she said in her interview
She
that
claimed she did.
she was always well, she said she was always big. Her father was big. Her mother wasn't so big, but I think one of her brothers was big.
Yeah,
So but she still says that in her mind she's still skinny.
right. That's the part I don't get. She's in the land of Delulu. Like, how could
Mm.
your mind think you skinny and you grew up big? She
Right.
mentioned in the interview that it was her thyroid, which is also hormonal.
Hmm.
But still, how could you feel like you skinny when you've never been skinny?
Exactly. Like, and then she
According
goes
to
on.
her.
Yeah, according to her, and she goes on to say that the F word is not allowed in her house, but at the same time, skinny is perfectly fine.
Mhm.
Right. So it's like, what's really going on here?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I watched one of the interviews. That I think it was like on a Fox, like one of those news channels where they was asking her about why did all of this start, why the lawsuits and stuff, and she's telling them that she didn't start none of that. She didn't start the lawsuit. She didn't start all this social media stuff. But she was the one who pulled out the phone and started recording it. And she was the one that uploaded it to her TikTok and her social media.
Yep.
And then tagged the news people in the TikTok or wherever she
She
posted
knew what
it.
she was doing.
Exactly. It's like how you trying to claim victim here, you don't know what's going on.
Mhm.
And if you watch the morning show interview, and Charlemagne was reading out what the lawsuit was about, and he came up on monetary damages and stuff, and he was like, "What's that? Like, what's that?" And she's like, "Crickets," And then she quickly was like, "Oh, that's the lawyer, the lawyers."
Individual, you're suing the corporate company for
Yes.
discrimination of
Weight
what they should have done.
discrimination.
Weight
She claims,
discrimination.
I'm looking at it now, claims because of the refusal, she suffered stress, humiliation, embarrassment, outrage, mental anguish, fear and mortification, emotional damages, economic damages, non economic damages. What is that?
That's the lawyer.
That's the attorney's.
Okay, attorney.
Doing that's lawyer, right?
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
her stepfather's like, "Yeah, the lawyer, that's lawyer stuff." Really?
It's
Because
all
the first,
about it's all about publicity, I believe. I believe
hmm
it's publicity because she claimed to be a rapper, right? And maybe she's not as big as she thinks she should be because she feels privileged for everything, like everybody should accommodate her. I think it's about publicity. Simple.
when you said accommodate, I was just thinking about how the Breakfast Club accommodated her when she went up there. Um, I see the interview afterwards about that. So for people that may not know, and I'm going to link the Breakfast Club interview in the description. But when she came into the Breakfast Club, they had a regular chair there. It was a big chair, but it was a regular like office chair.
Hmm.
And so she sits down in it, and the first thing she said is, "Do you have a bigger chair?" And right away, if you look at Charlamagne, he looks to the corner.
You good?
Good morning.
What's going on? Nice to meet you.
Hi, how
How are you? What's happening? Peace, King. How you, brother? You good? Nice to meet you, Keys.
Got it. Yep. This the only seat y'all got?
And a lot of people was giving him slack for that because they was like, "Oh, why are you looking away like that? You trying to control your laughter and stuff like that?" And in the interview afterwards, he explains that he didn't look away because he was going to laugh. Laughter was the last thing in his mind. He said he looked away to the corner because they already discussed about moving the big, what's that? It's like
Couch.
it's like a couch. It was like a sectional of a
Hmm.
couch. They already discussed about putting that out there for her, but he was like, "No, you can't just put that out there like that because that's an insult to her." She come in and they got a sectional. Like the sectional's never there, so why bring it out now? So
Hmm.
he's like, let it play out. If she asks for something, that's what we'll get. So when she sat down and the first thing she said was, "You got something bigger," he looked over to the sectional like, "Yep, we was already talking about that." So it was
Hmm.
like, and it was crazy. Now then you have this other guy. I don't know if I sent you this video, but it's this other African American guy on TikTok. He is going hard on her. Like he is upset. He had his TikTok already blocked a couple of times because they kind of say it's like hate or whatever. But he's just bringing out the facts about her, and he took it upon himself to look at the chair that they first offered her on the Breakfast Club
Hmm.
and get the chair's name and dimensions.
No.
And so he took that and he compared it to the Benz that she said she could get in. And he's like, she's lying. He's like, the Benz car seat is smaller than the chair that they offered her.
Never! We got Exhibit H, and it's the best evidence we've ever been given. Wait and watch. Don't you skip. You better watch.
This the only seat y'all got?
Oh!
What you want? What you need? A bigger chair or something.
Oh!
That's what I'm talking about. Good. This is the accommodation.
It's cool when you do it. It's a problem when the Lyft driver did it. And you know I had to go look up the chair. Let's check the width of the chair. Overall, the chair is 25 inches. Stay with me now. Stay with me. Looky here. The seat in the back of Mercedes is only 20 to 22 inches. So again, I ask you, how was the Lyft driver in the wrong? You told the Lyft driver that you could get in his vehicle comfortably. But at the Breakfast Club, their seat, which is bigger than the width of that car seat, somehow isn't comfy.
So how is she saying she fit in her friend's Benz, which is a small car too? And I'm
Right.
like, ooh, he have his seats.
But that also speaks to the fact that he knew she wouldn't be able to fit in that car. If she knew that she was uncomfortable there and she accepted the bigger chair, like why wouldn't you
Mm-hmm.
just sit in that chair that you in? You say you could squeeze into this little car, squeeze your butt into there. Where you
Mm-hmm.
in the original chair that they offered you. It
And
was uncomfortable.
she squeezed him in right away. She was like, "You ain't got a bigger chair?" Like she was uncomfortable. So she would have been uncomfortable in his car, and she
Exactly.
probably would have broke it.
It,
Because he said my tires on their last limb. Like you're gonna hurt my. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But it just.
mhm.
I mean, I kind of feel you're right though. It's publicity. She got an
Yeah.
album coming out. This is one way of getting up there. Whether or not she wins the lawsuit, because she said it's not for money, but
It is.
Whatever. Like you don't bring lawsuits. Just she wants to bring awareness. Awareness to
He
what?
wants to bring change and awareness. Right, right.
Changing awareness to what? Big people been around for a long time.
Yeah,
What are you? What exactly? All right. So you want to bring change and awareness. What's your pitch line to that? What are you talking about?
right.
That people don't accommodate you? They
I
do.
think
That's why they got extra XL, Lyft XL, or Uber XLs for people big or people that need extra space. One
and
person
another
asked,
another
huh?
thing about this whole lawsuit thing, it's a matter of safety as well. Because,
Right.
when you get in certain cars, the seatbelt is only so long.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have that extension for
Mm-hmm.
yourself, bring an extension for yourself, you're not going to be able to buckle that seat belt with that
Correct.
size, that much extra.
And that's something
Like,
I learned. I didn't know that they had seatbelt extenders like that, and
mhm,
I also learned that people of her size they walk with that. Like they
mhm,
carry that as part of their outfit. It's like because you just don't know. And I'm like, I
right.
never knew that. Like and I think he said something about the seatbelt. I'm not sure if he actually said anything about the seatbelt, but I didn't hear her say anything about I got an extender. I carry one.
Being an ex Uber and Lyft driver, I have experience with, the training program. And they train when you first sign up, they train you, and they say if it's not safe, don't do it. If you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. You can cancel the ride. And when she came out and broke out the phone or whatever, he could have just pushed a button, canceled, and left. I don't
Right,
even know why he put himself in that position. But I have canceled rides that I didn't feel safe, you know, taking.
right, right.
So yeah.
I think he was just trying to be nice, and it just backfired. So when you say that, that makes me wonder even more. Why would Lyft let him go? Because they are lawyers. All right,
No, no, you are your own boss with that. Lyft is a little bit more strict than Uber is. I don't believe they let him go. From what I hear, he's still working. Because
maybe
it's not
somewhere
like
else.
they're a boss.
Right,
They're not like an employer. You are your own boss. You work your own hours.
right,
You accept rides, you don't accept rides. So there's no way that he can, like, technically be fired. Maybe he might have been sanctioned, if anything.
right. There are some lawyers that say that being overweight is not a protected, what they call that, protective um, group or a protective something, like um,
It doesn't fit
like
into
discriminate,
the
like
discrimination
discrimination.
factor.
Right. It's not a
Hmm.
protected discrimination. Some shit like that. I forgot the word they use, but it's not a protected discrimination. Um, I found that in New York, it actually is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it
Okay.
actually is. It's part of a protective discrimination, but it's certain things that are protected. Like being denied a lift won't get you in trouble.
Right, right.
You
That
know,
doesn't qualify.
right? It's I actually have it. I took a picture because I was like, is it protected? And I'm like, well, let me see if New York. And I know every state has different laws.
Hmm.
Um, so it's like you got to find out what law it is in your state. Oh no, that's Nixon. That's a Trump thing. Okay, so here it says New York City law protects people from discrimination based on height and weight, including obesity. But the laws apply to employment, housing, and public accommodations. So is then it goes now it's like is Lyft a public accommodation or is that a private accommodation? Is it even an accommodation or is it a luxury? Right? It's like where does that
Hmm.
fall? Where does Lyft fall into that in that category? So you're gonna have a good lawyer is gonna rip that to shreds. Like this got nothing to do
Hmm.
with this, that,
Hmm.
but is I don't know what the laws are in Cali, but well, I don't even know what state was she in. You know what state she was in?
I
I don't
forget.
remember.
Chicago, I think. No,
I
I don't
forgot where.
remember.
Yeah, but I think in her state, I'm not even sure if it's a protected what we call. I forgot already what we just said.
But regardless of the discrimination
Right,
part,
there you
it
go.
still comes down to the point of safety.
Mm-hmm. And she wouldn't have been safe, especially if she didn't have a seatbelt extender.
Hmm.
And they would hit a pothole or something. His car would have been wrecked, and she probably would have got injured. You know,
Or say
not
if somebody else hit them,
right.
she's not in a seatbelt, he could
Yeah,
be liable. The company is liable. So
yeah.
yeah.
So it's interesting though, but it does spark the interest about the way um obese people are being treated. It's like she was talking about how people expect her to stay in the house, and then when she does come out, it's like, why are you coming out the house? You should be in the house. And
It's
then
the
it's like,
stigma.
right,
Stigma.
right.
Hmm.
And I think, I understand the stigma myself because, being that I'm disabled now, I used to get the stigma myself, and it's like, um, I would get the looks when I used to go to therapy in my wheelchair, and I go outside and I'm at the bus stop. The one thing you don't want to see at the bus stop is somebody in a wheelchair. It's like everybody and their mother, and I lived in a predominantly uh, Caribbean neighborhood.
Hmm.
It was a lot of um, what they call how you say, not Jamaican, because Jamaican always get this boxed into everything. They're not Jamaican, like St. Thomas and you know that kind. Not Jamaican. I don't want to
Hmm.
call it Jamaican. I don't want to say Jamaican. Everybody's Jamaican. No, like it's so they quick to suck their teeth at everything. Once you hear that, something's wrong. And so when I
Hmm.
I would get on the bus and all you hear like, oh, here we go. They upset because you don't when a wheelchair gets on a bus, it usually means they're going to be late. Because
Hmm.
you gotta get them in, you gotta strap them down, make sure everything's good. Then you gotta bring the lift back up, and you gotta travel a little slower because I've driven a bus and I forgot my wheelchair was over there, and I'm cruising like we got nobody. It's just me and the bus, and I make a turn, and the wheelchair is like on three legs. It's like leaned over. I'm like, oh, I forgot the guy's here. I got to slow it down. He about to
Oh
fall.
no.
Yeah, so they have to take it a little bit easier, and people who are in a
Hmm.
rush to go nowhere.
Hmm.
So you
Hmm.
get that stigma. So when you came out of your recovery, right,
Hmm.
and now you got these new clothes on. You're basically a new person. You're a whole
Hmm.
different person, and you step outside, what was the things that you noticed and how were you feeling about that?
Honestly, for the most part, it was my own insecurity at first.
Mm,
I had to eventually go get to a point to where I just accept myself as I am so I can move forward to try and get back down the best way I can.
right. Right.
Um but sometimes there are looks, especially from children. You get that person that just you know
Kids are brutal.
like dude,
Kid,
what?
yeah,
you know?
kids are brutal. Like they'll just be like, "Mommy, why she so big?" They'll be
Mhm.
like, you'll be like, "Ooh, you little fucker." you
But
I can
then
imagine.
you have the people who don't know. I wanna say ignorant, but not in a negative way. People who don't know, the ignorant who just assume that, oh, they just sit up and eat all day.
Right.
That's a
Right.
lot of times that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
The American diet is toxic.
Mm-hmm.
And if your lymphatic system and all these other different systems in your body's clogged up, your body's not going to eliminate properly and you get backed up, you gain weight, you can't function properly
Yep.
in a
Exactly.
nutshell. So,
See, that's and I'm glad you said that because there's a lot of people who think exactly that you got big just because you sat there and you ate five
right,
cheeseburgers a day.
right, right.
Not
And
everybody's like that. Yeah,
exactly.
You know.
This is not like Dank said. This is not my 600-pound life. You know, things
Right.
just you have to find what works well for your body.
Right.
A
Yeah.
diet that works well for your body. That's what I meant.
Yeah. I mean, but and then again, that's not easy, especially when you have certain things that's going wrong with your body. You know,
True.
it's like you have to. It's a lot that goes into trying to take it off because a lot of people think that you can just take it off overnight. And I tell
Hmm.
people all the time that that I speak to who gain weight and they just want to take it off. I say, listen, and sometimes they get offended by me saying this, but I tell them, you didn't gain it overnight, so don't expect to
Hmm.
lose it overnight. And they get
Yeah.
upset with me, and I'm like, I'm not trying to be mean, but a lot of people expect that, you know, they're 200 or 300 pounds over their BMI, that in a month's time they're going to get back to what their BMI is, and that's unrealistic. Like, it's not. If that's what you believe, you're setting yourself up for failure. You
Hmm.
know, it's not a diet you have to go on. It's a lifestyle change,
Hmm.
and that's going to take time.
Exactly.
You know.
It comes to a point where you have to love yourself enough to just sit down and think about what it is that I need to do to improve my health.
Hmm.
Um, like just recently, because of my mom's situation, my mom's disabled and I'm trying to help her. So me and her are working together to get both of our weight down.
Hmm.
So far it's only been like a month. I'm 10 pounds down, but I don't see it. Nobody else sees it, but we know what we're doing. So it's not like we have to care about what anybody else has to say about it. You know, just as long as you know what you're doing to help yourself. And that's the main thing. Care enough about yourself to try and figure out what you need to do in order to get down. And hopefully next year this time I will be half the size that I am.
Well, you said you started in a month and you're 10 pounds down, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's been a month.
1 month, 10 pounds. If you extrapolate that to a year's time, that's over 100 pounds lost. You would definitely see a difference in a year from now. Now,
Providing
one
that I
thing,
stick to it.
right? Providing you stick to it, but
Right.
no. But here's the thing, though. When it comes to weight loss, you're always going to hit a plateau.
Yeah,
It's
that's
always
the
going to
hard
be a
part.
plateau. You have
Mhm.
to. That's the part you're going to have to overcome. As long as
Mhm.
you stick to it, you may hit a point where nothing is happening, but if you stick to it, then after a while, it's going to start to drop again. It's just that
Mhm.
for whatever reason, we always hit this plateau, and then we get discouraged, and that's it. We're done. We go back to eating, and we blow back up twice as much as
Right.
we lost.
Well,
But
that's that emotional part. You like I said, you have to love yourself enough to be able to stick to it and go through it. Like people go through that. Okay, personal experience. I lost weight, and then I hit that plateau, and then I get depressed, eat again, or stop doing the exercises, or whatever it is that I'm doing, or something happens because life happens,
mhm,
things change, and then you can't continue. But that don't mean give up.
right,
Just keep trying, keep trying, keep trying,
mhm,
and that's what I've been doing. Keep
yeah.
trying.
Yeah, no, that's how you do it. You keep it up. Just keep pushing. So
Fighting
it is
hormones is the hardest part of losing weight. Is it's the hormones.
the hormones.
Yeah,
Is there like some kind of medical procedure or medication, whether it be traditional medication or bush remedy that you feel, without trying to give people advice, I think, because we're not doctors, so don't
right.
take this as medical advice to do anything. We're just talking about situations here.
Hmm.
Is there anything like that you think might help, or you came across and it seems like it could help? That
Help me
you,
personally.
yeah.
Um, I found that me personally, I get into, uh, I want to say the realm or the the action of weight loss when I eliminate meat.
Mm,
For
okay.
some reason, I don't know what it is. When I eliminate meat and processed foods. So basically, just fruits, vegetables, cooked or not cooked. That's it.
Well, I mean, I could see that with meat because even though we derive a lot of our proteins from meat, meat takes about 3 days to digest. So we're constantly eat like I don't know if your diet is like this, but we eat meat every day, like almost every day with every part
I
of the
used
meal.
to, yeah,
So it's like you got if you think about that, you have at least 3 or 4 days worth of meat sitting in your stomach before
yeah.
you eliminate one day's worth. You know, and the thing that I noticed about that was I was in the hospital and I had major surgery to where my bowels stopped working. It was just
Mm,
because it wasn't being used, so
mhm,
my bowels just stopped working and I was still going. Well, I wasn't eating anything. That I was getting fed through tubes and stuff like that, and I was still
mhm,
going to the bathroom. And I'm like, Doc, what the hell is going on? Like, why is this? And he's like, no, you still have the food that you ate 3 days ago in your stomach. It's still being processed. I'm like, really? I thought, I pooped it out that night. No, he said that was 3 days ago that you pooped out.
mhm,
So it still stays in your stomach. He's like the short intestine, the small intestine is extremely long. He's like it has a lot of track to go through, and that's because
mhm,
it wants to pull as much nutrients out of the food before letting it go. So I'm like,
mhm,
oh, I didn't know that. I said, yeah. So when you do a cleanse like that, one of those cleanses, it's like, and you see that you pooping a lot. That's because it's clearing everything out, and so that's why a lot of dietitians they'll tell you if you want to start a new diet or a lifestyle change, the first thing you should do is cleanse. Start with a fresh cleanse, and then
mhm,
first of all, when you do the cleanse, you're gonna feel way better. You're gonna feel lighter. You're gonna feel more energetic, and then you could start with that, and then work your way
mhm,
to your new lifestyle, which I did in practice, and I gotta say, she was right. I
mhm,
did back then. They had what's called phosphorus soda. They don't offer that anymore. But for whatever reason, I guess it was just bad for your health or whatever, or cancer
mhm,
causing. I'm not sure why they discontinue it, but now they just give you this big, huge jug to drink to do the cleanse. But back then, you could just get phosphorus soda over the counter, and phosphorus soda was like in a bottle like this big, right?
mhm.
And you would take hold on, sorry. Uh,
Somebody's a fan.
yeah, sorry. So you would take half of that bottle and you pour it in a cup of 7 Up and you drink
Mhm.
it. And then half an hour later, you take the other half.
Yeah, see, I can't. I
And
can't. Mm-mm. No, I have to do it the
and
natural way.
and you'll be clean by the morning. I just
I
say that.
know.
But they don't offer that no more. They offer that big ass bottle. It's like a half a gallon bottle. Looks like a
Mhm,
paint jug. And you have to drink all of that.
mhm,
And then you slowly go to the bathroom and eliminate. But
mhm,
once you clean yourself out like that, you totally clean yourself out, you will feel you'll feel lighter because you are lighter, but you'll feel lighter and your body will feel so much energetic. It's like amazing. Like I
I
remember
haven't done the cleanse yet.
I,
Maybe
I,
I
re-
should.
I remember after the cleansing, I'm going to work. We have this hill called the Great Equalizer on 30 something street. I mean, you come out the train station, you have to walk up this hill to go to work. And by the time you get there, you're like, And I remember walking up the hill like it was nothing. Like I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, damn, I feel good. Like I'm gonna have to do this cleanse on a weekly basis, but you can't do it on a weekly basis. I just
Mm,
felt like I wanted to do it because it just felt better. So, you know,
mhm,
I think as that's a good recommendation, but I would
mhm,
also say check with your doctor first, man. Don't listen to me.
mhm.
Don't listen to me, man. Don't
No,
take my
I
advice.
did talk to my doctor about what I'm doing, and he likes it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I mean for me.
did you see the video with Dank falling on stage?
Poor baby.
They
Yeah.
were saying that she couldn't get up. And she said that happened like in 2017 sometime.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I don't know if she was bigger or smaller back then.
I think she's bigger because on the show she said she lost like 80 pounds.
Oh, she did? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So I mean at that point, so that was years ago, and she says on the Breakfast Club that in my mind I still think I'm skinny. Do you think she's doing big people a service, or she making it harder for big folks?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't have an opinion about that one. I don't know. She is it's not in a good light, I'll say that.
Like,
But yeah. No, cuz there are a lot of plus size women, men also speaking up about this. So I wouldn't
mhm.
say necessarily doing it a disservice because our voices are being heard, you know,
Right. I
other
kind of feel
than
that way. I feel like she may not come about it the right way, but she sparked the conversation, and that's the
yeah,
most important part.
that's true.
You know? I mean, look, we're here talking about it. You
Right.
know,
Right.
even though she, I don't know, I don't know if what she's doing is publicity or I know that this whole thing is really because she was hurt because she even said it at one of
She
the
got her
interviews.
feelings hurt.
She
Mhm.
got her feelings hurt about what
Mhm.
he said, and I'm like, he was really going out of his way to be um, respectful, and she still got her feelings hurt. So I
I
mean,
said if
that's
that was me, that whole thing would have been way different. Way different. I commend him for being as nice as he was.
mhm.
That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Right. He did offer to send another lift too. He said, "I'll send
Yeah.
another lift over."
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, that should have been the end of it right there. If she
Yeah.
was reasonable, she would have said, "Oh, okay, I understand." You know, and be like, "All right, just send another lift." But no, she's
Mhm.
insisted she could get in the car, and she can. I mean, there's pictures of her in the SUV, and she barely fits in the SUV.
Right. My thing is, okay, she says that she shouldn't have to pay more in order to get a lift
Hmm.
and, to accommodate her. My thing is, you see this little car coming. How? Please explain to me, how can he accommodate her?
Exactly.
What is he supposed to stretch his car a little bit, take out the back seat, the front seat? What? I don't
Supposed to take out the back seat and put the front seat to the back.
like how can he accommodate her? That's the thing. Like, okay, I get your feelings was hurt, and maybe you can, maybe you can't fit in the car, maybe, but you talking about accommodation. How?
Let
She
me
never
ask you
answered
something.
that question.
In those apps, don't they show what kind of vehicle is coming to get you?
Yeah.
So she knew off the rip that it was a small vehicle coming.
Yep.
But I guess according to her, sorry, I guess
Don't vibrate.
I thought I had them. I did. Oh no, I did. Sorry, it's supposed to be off. My bad. Um, according to her, she saw what was coming, and she was like, "I could get in that little thing." You know, she could have stopped it right there. And say, "Oh no, 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 I need something a little bit bigger."
Mhm.
And they probably would have charged her extra, but he wouldn't have lost his job or
Yeah, I think
supposedly
they do
was.
cancel you. They charge you for canceling the ride.
Right, right.
I think they do. Wow.
Mm.
Maybe she didn't want to pay.
Right. She wanted a regular. Somebody asked her a question: when you get on an airline, do you pay for two seats? And it's like, if you do, are you still on the airline? I thought, I thought that was an interesting question. Like, okay, if you have to pay, because I know airlines do, they make you pay for two seats if
Some of
you're a
them
certain
do,
size.
but
Right.
she specifically named one specific airline that gives her the extra seat because of her size. That's the
Mhm.
kind of accommodation she's
That she
expecting
expecting from everybody.
from
Right.
everybody, but that's not how life works.
Mhm.
That is not how life works. You have to
Right.
make yourself fit in where you can.
Right. Right. I mean, shout out to the airlines that does it for her, but
Hmm.
that's not what everybody does. And I've seen where people had to pay double for their seats. You know, yes, which nowadays, I mean, we're in 2025. That shouldn't be a thing. I mean, if you go
Hmm.
to these theme parks, they have seats that are made specifically for obese people or people
Hmm.
that are larger. So I
Hmm.
think um, if you go to a hospital, they have beds that are made for larger people. They have wheelchairs that are made for larger people.
Hmm.
So at this point in time, there should be certain seats in the
In the
airplane
airline. Hmm.
that are made for bigger people. I mean, granted, it may not be where exactly you would like it to be, but
Hmm.
it's gonna, they're gonna put in as many seats. They're gonna crunch the numbers. Every now and then, we get, and let's say in October we had 5 people that requested either two seats or we had a situation where the person was too large. So we know we need at least 5 seats for October. So
On average.
right. So on average, we'll put in about 3 big seats for them on a plane. That should eliminate most of the problem. So they'll work it out.
That's
But
too
I
much
mean,
like right though. You got to think about it. These are corporations. They all about the bottom line.
right. But I
So
mean, it'll be best for them to do that because then you got the lawsuits coming now. Now we in the day and age where everybody's in their feelings, and the
hmm.
minute you do something wrong, it's a discrimination. You
Right.
can't
Right.
you can't say or do anything now without a lawsuit coming out. So I think it would be in their best interest to start to accommodate large folks. And some people they try to take advantage of the system also, and I think that was
Hmm.
what one of the things that she had in her mind. Like I think it was a combination of things going on. Again, this is just my opinion. I think one, like you said, is the publicity. She does have a record coming out. I've never heard of her and I'm in hip hop. I've been in hip hop since before the towers fell. So
Ever.
yeah, forever, ever. You know what I mean? And so I never heard of her, and until I don't even I heard some of her music now because of what's
Right.
happening, but
Right.
that I mean that won't make me buy anything. She sounds okay for a big girl.
Mm.
I mean, not even for a big girl. She just sounds okay.
You know
Uh,
what? Speaking on that, can if I can just interject here,
mm-hmm,
her music. Okay, in the interview, she mentioned that she makes her clothes, but she feels skinny.
mm-hmm,
We going back to that.
mm-hmm,
Anyway, you make your clothes to make them fit. They didn't look bad on her. I'm
mm-hmm.
thinking maybe switch up from music.
And
Just
start your own
asking.
clothing line.
You
Mm-hmm,
know what I'm saying? Because
mm-hmm.
it seemed like she's better in fashion than she is in music, and that's me being nice.
No, yeah, you're right. A lot of the stuff,
Yeah.
she was getting compliments on everything she wears.
Right,
And
right,
she even
right,
felt the way because she was on some show. I forgot what it was, where they took her to a store. She's like, nothing fit. Like
right,
nothing there fits. So she's like, that's what she started talking about. I sew my own store stuff and stuff. And I'm like,
right,
okay, okay, but you're
right.
right. I mean, she could fall back on that. She should concentrate on doing that. If you want to bring awareness, now you got the spotlight.
Yep,
Now you got the
yep,
spotlight. You can start
yep.
making your own clothes and start selling them out for big girls, making them look cute. And
Mhm.
now they have other clothes, other people to go to instead of the normal. You know,
Right,
first
exactly.
thing a lot of people go to is Lane Bryant. When you're going to go to Lane Bryant,
I
Lane
hate that
Bryant,
store.
but it has
Sorry, I do.
I mean, they do have nice stuff though.
Some of
You
it, yeah, but it's
know,
mhm. I'm a creative. I like to look a certain way.
right?
You
They
can't just
want you looking
buy.
a certain. They want you to have a certain look, and that's it with Lane
Right,
Bryant.
right. That
Right,
stuffy box look, mm-mm.
right. I mean, I think, yeah, I don't know. Lane Bryant, I can't defend them on that. They have to expand their
I think they focus more towards the corporate
yeah,
America
exactly,
kind of
exactly.
woman. I'm not corporate, as you can see. So it's not for everybody. It's
Right,
probably okay, but not for everybody.
right, right. So they need something. You need something like what's a regular store that's very, very diverse in their clothing selection. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Media, I don't know, but something like that where it's just everyday clothes or even different looking outfits that's just out of the norm but still look good fashion
Hmm.
wise. So
Hmm.
maybe you could start something.
I've thought about it. I have thought about it. I just need resources, honey. I've
Mm-hmm.
been designing clothes and doing art since I was 14. My mind is creative. I'm always doing something.
Mm-hmm.
ADHD.
So yeah, you mentioned you've been doing arts. What kind of arts are you into?
Um, Shit, if it's DIY, I'm doing it. Um, First like I said, I started out doing fashion design, and then I moved on to working with wood and clay and glass, um, home decor. Lately, I've been working on doing bath and body stuff for spiritual people,
Mm,
people that are on the left hand path. I've been doing a lot of things like that.
people on the left hand path.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard to find as one from the left hand path. It's hard to find what I need conveniently already made without having to make it myself. So I'm like, I might as well just make it for myself. If
What
I
is
find that there's a market for that, like if people would actually buy it, I'll create a line and mass produce it. No problem.
what's left hand path though?
Oh, okay. Well, you know how they have the spiritualists that are love and light and, everything's all hunky dory good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the left hand path focuses on getting through your shadow self, the dark parts of yourself that you don't want to look at. You work through that, you heal that way, working through your darkness. And
Mm-hmm.
eventually you become the person that you were meant to be through the dark path.
So there's a.
Everything. Hmm?
So you think there could be a market for that?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. There's a lot of people out there with the left hand path, but if I see that, maybe I might have a chance to help other people with it, then sure, why not?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, could be something you look into.
Yeah, I mean, because with living life every day, being busy, you got your family, the this, the that going on, work. You might want to just pick up something, do your ritual, your spell or whatever, and have it done instead of having to go and make it. Like they have specialized candles. I have specialized candles, specialized body oils, all kind of stuff. A
Oh,
whole
that's
list.
that's. So let me ask you. So because we got a little about 11 minutes to go.
Hmm.
With Dank, what it is? What language is that? It's Ebonics here. What is it
Old
that?
school Ebonics.
What is it that you would like people to come away with when it comes to Dank and um, big people in general?
I agree with a lot of what she said. Well, half of what she said, as far as being a big person in public, with the stigmas and things like that. Like, not all big people experience the same things. You know,
Mm-hmm.
not all big people are just sitting around on their behind. Like she did mention that she was getting out, working out. You know, she's working with a therapist, and you know, don't look at us as just some lazy fat person or the F
Mm-hmm.
word.
The F word, right?
We
Yeah.
are people, you know, we are regular people and living regular lives, you know, just treat us equally.
Right. And speaking of working out, there was a video of her. I think she was in her garage working out, and
Mhm.
she was just explaining what it is that she's about to do, and she was out of breath just explaining that.
Yeah.
And I was like, she has a long way to go. I'm
She
glad
has to
she's
build her stamina.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad she's starting somewhere. But
Mhm.
if you can't even talk without losing your breath, that means you have a long way to go. And I could speak on that because when I came home from my accident, when I was well enough to come home, they basically threw my ass out. But um, one of the first things I wanted to do was get back on the mic, and so I got my equipment together, got my computer and stuff, started working on some beats, and then when I finally found a beat that I liked, I wrote some lyrics and I dropped the lyrics. But I noticed that um, recording the lyrics, even sitting down, I was having to stop because I was out of breath, just trying to spit the
Mhm.
rhymes. And I'm like, oh my God, like
Mhm.
I've never had that problem before. And I remember when Beyonce was talking about what she does to stay in shape, and she's like her father used to make her run laps while singing just
Breath
to be
training.
yeah to be in just to be in
Mm.
shape because when you're exerting your voice like that, it's like a workout. You
Mhm.
know, you have to learn how to breathe the right way in order to spit the
Mhm.
lyrics or spit the vocals in a
Yeah.
certain way, a certain cadence. And and I was like sitting down, and I'm like, damn, I'm sitting down and I'm out of breath. Like this is not good. And so
Mhm.
I had to find a way because I couldn't really walk to get my stamina back. So I'm like, oh my God, what am I
What
gonna
did you
do?
do?
So what I actually started doing was I bought some leg weights and I would lift my legs up in the chair and I would try to walk, but at that point it was still too painful to walk too much.
Mhm.
But I would force myself downstairs to my basement and I would get on the treadmill and I would just walk for 10 minutes. And the first 5 minutes I'll put the weights on my legs and then I'll walk and then the second 5 minutes I'll take the weights off and then put the treadmill on an incline. So it's like
Mhm.
walking up a hill. And
Mhm.
that helped. But it not as much as, actually running and getting the stamina up, but it helped a lot. And then I started using my universal more. So I was getting a full body workout, which was
Okay.
I mean, it worked now. I mean, I'm at the point where I can spit and not have to worry about it, but I still can feel it coming. Like
Mhm.
it's not 100%. That's because I'm not 100% still, but I can still feel it. Like I'm the type of person I think about a lot of things in the future, like what's going to happen, and I'm like, if I'm on stage, I can't be like this. I have to be able to spit everything flawlessly. I can't be winded. And I know I see this big people like they got that other big guy that he's on stage on a couch and rhyming. I'm like, he
Yeah.
has oxygen in his goddamn nose. I'm like,
Yeah.
he could do it. I definitely could do it, but I don't want to be that guy. You know, I don't care if I come out with my scooter, and perform like that, but I don't want to be the guy that I can't breathe and trying to
Right.
rhyme. Like,
Right.
no, I already have asthma. I don't need everybody fucking feeling like they can't breathe watching me. Like, breathe, nigga, breathe.
Trying to breathe for you.
They're trying to breathe for me. You kind of you tend to do that when you see people suffering. You like trying to breathe for them, like. I watched a movie called Silent, and I remember not breathing during some of the sequences. I mean, oh my god, I forgot to breathe because the movie's so you're so wrapped up in the movie, and it's silent in the
Yeah,
movie. And
yeah.
if you make noise, you can get in trouble. So I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to breathe. Yeah. So, but
Yeah, man.
yeah, it's like seeing her do that. I'm like, I mean, and she has weights and stuff like that, and weights are a good thing, but I think that has to be like,
Incorporated
um,
later.
yeah, I think if you're gonna lift weights, lift light.
Hmm.
Everybody thinks that when you start off and you all of a sudden you got to jump to the weights. No, I think for me, this is a personal opinion. I think just walking is the one thing you should concentrate on. Walk as
You know
much as you
what?
can.
Even when I was smaller and younger and more fit, I hate walking. I've
Mm,
always hated it. So I picked up the weights. And
mm-hmm.
that's how I got toned. I went from the weights to the elliptical, to the elliptical to the weights. That's how I was able to stay.
The elliptical is another good
Yeah.
thing because that's
But
less stress on the joints.
exactly. But
That's
I also recently found out I'm not into all this other circuitry stuff, but I found out like yoga, Pilates,
mm-hmm,
you become more flexible and
mm-hmm,
and toned with that right there. Swimming.
mm-hmm.
You
Swimming.
remember I used to swim,
Mm-hmm.
remember?
Yeah, I
That
used
that
to
helps a
always
lot
encourage
too.
you because
Yeah.
swimming and walking is the two most underrated exercises you can do.
Yeah.
Swimming is a full body workout.
So
You have
instead of walking, I would swim or
mhm.
do something like Pilates
See, but
or
you
what is
have an
that? Yoga.
advantage. You have an advantage that a lot of people don't have.
What's that?
Because you're on the West Coast and you have beaches by you. If
I,
you take a
mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm.
if you take a 2 mile walk on a beach, that's like a full body
Oh,
workout.
okay. I thought
I'm
you was
not
gonna
saying
say
get in
get
the
in the
water.
water.
No, no,
Mm-mm.
no, no. I mean swimming is swimming, but I'm just saying what you gotta the reason I say that because the sand does not it gives way.
It's
So
hard. It's
yeah,
hard to walk in that sand.
you
Yes.
have to work to walk on the sand and just walking about 2 miles a day on the sand,
Hmm.
you will lose tremendous weight.
That's a full body workout, and I did not think about that. Thank you.
That is a full body workout. And
Thank
and I
you.
always say when I get better that's one of the things I want to do, but I have to figure out I have like two sticks that you put on your arms and you walk with that. I might have to use that because I can't bring my rollator to the beach. You know,
Hmm.
it doesn't roll on sand. I have the one that you can walk and carry like that, but I want to be a little bit more freer. And walking on the sand for me is a little bit dangerous because
Hmm.
I don't have balance as it is, and you got to have a good balance on the sand. It works those muscles, but I
Hmm.
think that that's what I need to work those muscles that I can't really target in any way. So the sand will make it so that those muscles will
It'll
start
force
to
you
work.
to do it.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So I
Right.
know I got to get there at some point. I'm gonna try to do it this year. I'm gonna be on social media like, yeah, your boy hit the sand. Somebody come get me, cause I can't get up. And that's the meme's gonna start. Oh, he fell and he can't get up. You
No. Oh no.
know. So, any last words for Dank? People
Keep
is
doing
watching.
what you're doing, and I don't know. That's it.
Yeah. What
You
about
know.
for other big people? I mean, I know I'm a. Eesh. Go ahead, y'all. Go ahead in the comments. It is what it is. I don't mean it in
My
a
main
bad
thing is
way.
just make sure you strive for your authentic self. Love yourself. If you really love yourself, you're gonna try to do what it takes to get yourself better to where you want to be, whatever that means for you.
Right, right. Mm. So Trees, man, I appreciate you coming on the show, doing this little interview. Yeah. And remember what I said, man. Don't forget us little folk when you blow up. Say hi.
Good. Well, when my book drops, I'll let
Oh,
you know.
okay. So you got a book on. You can plug it.
I forgot to mention that. Yeah, no, we're
Yeah.
not gonna talk about that right now.
All right. So
Well,
where can people follow you or find you?
I'm on TikTok, Miss Trees Treadway, and
Mhm.
I'm on Instagram and Facebook. Same name. Well, I think Instagram is Miss Evil Trees, but
Mhm.
you know this face.
All right. I'll make sure I'll put it in the description so your new fans could follow you.
Oh, goodness.
I appreciate you coming on. You have yourself a good night.
You too. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. Appreciate you watching and see you on the next one. The Elusive chopping it up. Peace.